and welcome to Bicycle Touring Talk, episode number 85. My name is George Schlacek, and I am... Well, thanks for your patience, as this series was interrupted for over 2 months. I left off at the end of last year, telling you about my 2017 bicycle tour coast to coast across Canada. Episode 84 had me right along the north shore of Lake Superior. I had met some other cyclists and ended the day in Terrace Bay, where I had found free camping right at the visitor center. The next day was Saturday, July 8th, 2017. I got up and made coffee, had a snack, but it wasn't enough to fuel any serious riding. The weather was kind of damp that morning. I had to pack my tent like that, even though it was still moist. The plan was to ride about 82 kilometers to Marathon and get there early enough so I could dry the tent before bedtime. I decided to have breakfast at the local restaurant, Drifters. It was well worth it. Beautiful morning here Saturday in Terrace Bay, Ontario. I just had a real breakfast here at the Drifters. So I'm all set for my ride to Marathon, which is about 75 kilometers, and then I'll go a little further later after I do my laundry and stuff. The ride began in sunshine, and once again there were more hills than I could count, but I had plenty of energy and made really good time. For a Saturday, the traffic seemed to be quite heavy, and the constant noise was more tiring than the cycling itself. Yeah, beautiful Saturday morning here, and you would think it's like just nothing but quiet and nature, but truck traffic is heavy, and it's annoying, can I say? On top of one hill, after about 65 kilometers, I found a lookout point, and to my surprise, it even had a picnic table. I made some sandwiches, finished all my peanuts, and had 2 apples for dessert. A few motorists stopped to chat with me. After lunch, it didn't take long, and the weather changed. Well, this is what it looks like. There's clouds, there's a strong wind. It keeps changing. Right now I feel it in the back, but it's been fighting me for the most part of the day, and now the sun is gone and it's cold. Suddenly the wind was cold, the sun gone, and then the rain started. I got my rain jacket on just in time, but it only kept me from losing my body heat way too fast. I had absolutely no choice but to keep going because I was literally in the middle of nowhere. Puddles were building up right on my handlebar bag. This is definitely a problem with those bags. Barbara and I both bought one at Mech. They should have come with a rain cover. The rain didn't let up until I was thoroughly drenched, and my panniers looked like water probably got through to my clothes and gear. Arriving in Marathon, which was quite a way down a hill off the main road, I headed straight to A&W to have some more lunch and a hot cup of coffee. The place was poorly organized. It took them half an hour to make a burger, but at least the staff was kind enough to give me more coffee once it was there. I was making plans to go to the laundromat and hang out there until I had a set of clean and dry clothes, which was surely going to take long enough to make all the rain clouds go away, and then perhaps go on for a bit or find camping. My plan didn't work out. When I stepped out of the restaurant, the rain had started once again, and it was just as heavy as before. I have an expensive emergency plan for cases like that. It is called Hotel. The Zero One-hundred Motel had one room left, and I decided to go for it. They could have just called it the $100 Motel because that was about what the room cost me. It wasn't a fancy place at all, just the only one in town. The next few hours were spent doing laundry and getting clean. Later, I went to the nearby grocery store to buy food for the road. Barbecue chicken was 30% off, so I bought a whole one just for myself for supper. The weather outside stayed pretty grim all day, so I spent the rest of the afternoon in my room taking advantage of the internet. Eventually, I fell asleep watching some stupid show on TV. Then it was Sunday, July the 9th. The day started off with a good breakfast at the hotel. It always seems to be quite the chore to get everything loaded onto the bike again, even after such a short stay. I had a pile of clean clothes, a dry tent, and my sleeping bag spread out all over the room, plus fresh groceries. I'd be set for a few days as long as the weather would cooperate. Almost at 11 o'clock sharp, I rolled out of the hotel parking. I had been advised to take the same road back to the highway as I had taken down into town. It seemed like the longer and harder option. Well, it meant climbing a steep hill. Instead, I opted for the old Terrace Bay road, which was supposed to be a rough dirt road. For the first kilometer, it was actually paved and in great shape. But then, I reached a sign, "Road closed." For a moment, I thought I'd have to turn around, but then I decided to give the dirt trail a try. It turned out to be a good choice, and within minutes I was back on Highway 17, a bit further east than I would have been with the paved road. The ride started out good, with many hills, but none that were as bad as I had experienced in the last few days. I still had about half a chicken left from the supper the night before, which I had placed onto my front rack, unattached. Yeah, it was complete in the container, and I figured it'd be perfect for chicken sandwiches. But first, I had to find a good place to stop for lunch. Just when it seemed that such a place might not exist on this stretch of highway, I came to the intersection of Route 629. There was my picnic area. Old mining equipment was on display and a lot of advertising for the remote town of Manitou Wedge. According to the billboards, this place was really beautiful and green. The only pictures showing snow were the ones with the snowmobile trails. Perhaps winter isn't an issue up there in this remote northern location, but quite possibly the advertising was trying to downplay this harsh fact of northern Canadian life. I ate my chicken on buns with cheese and tomato topped with jalapenos. The weather was okay, but clouds threatened with rain. Strong winds came on and off. It seemed like I was constantly putting on my rain jacket only to take it off again a while later. Eventually, the sun came out and made for a pleasant ride. I had only 98 kilometers on my odometer when I reached White River. My first stop was the visitor center, where I was told I could camp outside for free. Before setting up the tent, I cooked chili in a gazebo that was part of the park, all the while watching the clouds, which again threatened with rain. I also checked out the statue of Winnie the Pooh, the actual bear that was sold here over 100 years ago as a pet. He later became known as Winnie and was the inspiration for the stories of Winnie the Pooh. Yeah, so this is White River, Ontario. This Lieutenant Harry Colborne, he bought a bear, a little black bear cub, and he named her Winnie after his hometown, Winnipeg. Except for a few drops, the rain never came, so I set up my tent as soon as the bugs started attacking me in droves. At that point in White River, I had already ridden about 1,000 kilometers across Ontario. But this province is so huge that I was still in the far western part of it, nowhere near the central area. The plan was to get Barbara on a plane and to explore parts of central Ontario together with her. At this point, none of this was a given. How does it go on from here? Well, I hope you'll join me again for upcoming episodes. There will be lots more of Northern Ontario. Most of it, though, was unforgettable. You can also catch up on previous episodes by clicking the playlist on the screen. This series starts in Tofino, BC, and follows the entire tour. Well, once I get there. I'll see you soon. Thanks for watching.